I think this is one of the most inspiring people I know. Spirit 105.3, hi.
Hello, Erica.
Allison, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's so good to hear your voice.
It's so great to hear your voice, and congratulations on all the good things that are happening in your life.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're starting 2025 off pretty well.
What else would you do? You're starting off strong. You are seriously the coolest mom I know. I love following you on the Insta, by the way, at Alison Storm. The other day, you got your kids up at 5 a.m. and you went on a really special trip. What did you guys do?
Yes, literally yesterday, we drove 2.5 hours from our home to the Carter Center in Atlanta, Georgia, to pay our respects to President Jimmy Carter. I'm a bit of a presidential history buff, but I also just wanted my children to witness this piece of history. He was the president when I was born, so I've kind of felt this connection.
I think it's wonderful. My mom actually texted me and said, Erica, I was feeding you a bottle when President Carter was being inaugurated, so I'm right there with you. There's a special little connection we have.
Yeah, totally. That's so sweet.
Isn't that so sweet? He made such a difference in this world. What did your kids take away from their visit at the Carter Center?
Well, if you have a chance to visit, it is so cool and inspirational, and you really see the journey he took from peanut farmer to president. And my kids just loved seeing that. And I would say, they loved especially learning about his childhood. He was an avid reader, and he won an award for reading the most books in his third grade class. I think it was like 26 books he read.
Wow.
And they had a bunch of the books there that he had read, and they saw one that they had read. And so they loved seeing the connection, like, hey, I've read that book. He read that book. That's so neat to see a similarity between yourself and someone who grew up to become president. The other thing I really wanted my kids to see, and I made sure we talked about this afterward, there were so many times they pointed out in the exhibit where, he could have given up and no one would have blamed him. Like, for instance, his first run for governor of Georgia, he lost.
Wow.
Thankfully, he ran again.
Yeah.
And something I knew was that it came from encouragement from his square dancing group that kept him going.
You are kidding me. A little do-si-do, and you got this, almost President Carter.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that sweet?
It is so very sweet. I'm just so happy that you went. I think it's incredible because I think about all of the things President Carter did after his presidency with Habitat for Humanity. So what really impacted you about the trip? Alison, I ask you this specifically because you're a real difference maker in this world. You're always looking for ways to make the community a better place.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, he just served. Like, he saw a need and he'd jump in. So before he was senator or governor or president, he was on the library board in his community. He served on the school board. He just did it. These are things you and I can do right now.
Yeah.
You mentioned Habitat for Humanity. He and his wife helped build or repair more than 4,000 homes. You and I can do that. We could go call up Habitat for Humanity right now. I'm sure they would welcome us. I mean, he taught Sunday school twice a month at his home church in Plains, Georgia, well into his 90s. We can all do that.
What an awesome perspective. I love it. Alison, you also had the privilege of seeing President Carter in person at the dedication of the Billy Graham Library. What were your impressions of him?
Yeah, that was unforgettable. I was working as a TV reporter at the time, and that was probably one of the best assignments that I could have ever received because I was right there in the press corps, and on stage was Reverend Billy Graham, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, George H.W. Bush, Cliff Barrows was there. Many men that have passed on now since then, but it was a remarkable day. And I just remember President Carter praying very easily and often up there on stage in front of everyone and just being a warm and welcoming person.
Isn't that incredible? Faith was the driving force in his life. He knew how to love his neighbors. And Alison, what a thing to be remembered for. So I'm wondering how the Carter Center puts a spotlight on President Carter's faith. What stood out to you?
Well, the first thing you see when you begin exploring the museum is this quote, and I wrote it down because I love it so much.
Oh, good.
My faith demands, this is not optional, my faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I am, whenever I can, for as long as I can, with whatever I have to try to make a difference.
That sums it up.
It does.
Wow. We can all live like that, as you pointed out. Do you remember the name of the book that your kids and President Carter read?
The Call of the Wild.
Oh, that's so awesome. Now also a movie with Harrison Ford, I think. That's so cool.
Yes, we ended up watching that after we read it.
Of course you did. Alison, you're amazing. And I could see either Sammy or Phani, either of your children, becoming president someday. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
I vote for them. Alison Storm, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Let's do it again soon. You're just terrific.
Absolutely. Thank you, Erica.